Thank you for watching our 24-hour-a-day live stream here at Explore Scientific, where we show you all the programs that we run live in front of a live audience. Programs like Global Star Party, On the Wing for birders, First Light Chronicles for beginners, and Focus on Astrophotography for astrophotographers. We bring in astronomers and explorers from around the world to answer your questions live. But there's so much cool information there that we decided to package it all together and run it 24 hours a day. We're also on Amazon Live, where we do deep dives into our products and our gear. There's so much important information as we share the education, the experience, answering questions from the audience, that kind of thing. So tune in, and thanks for watching. If you want to see amazing Milky Way views, you want to observe the stars, you want to hang out with astronomers, but you love art and you love music, you're going to want to come to the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party, September 21st to the 25th at Oracle State Park in Oracle, Arizona. It'll be an amazing event, and I know you're going to love it. Well, hello everybody, it's Scott Roberts, Annie Scarborough, and we are here for Explore Alliance Live. And so what
it's definitely live.
What's that?
It's definitely live.
It's definitely live. That's right.
And we know, Scott's coffee's hot. I was saying, and we know your coffee is hot.
That's right. So we were listening to a little piece of the presentation from Dr. Wendy Friedman. She's you know, an astronomer, cosmologist type of astronomer from University of Chicago, and her work, her defining work, has been on something called the Hubble Constant. Now, this is something that Edwin Hubble came up with as kind of a yardstick, a measuring, a mathematical measuring tool to measure the size of the universe. Since he came up with it, it's been refined, and the number's been refined by measuring what they call standard candles. Okay, so those are certain types of stars, certain ways of measuring brightness or energy from the universe, and then trying to statistically remove noise out of it to get closer and closer to a theoretical model. Okay, Wendy Friedman and her colleagues, I think they have it down to a certainty of like 1%. Okay, and they are looking to refine it even further. So it was real exciting for us to be at the Mount Wilson Observatory during a time, a historic first, where the George Ellery Hale family, the extended family, was able to get together to finally meet one another, maybe for the very first time in their lives, and to talk about the legacy and importance of George Ellery Hale, who died in 1938, I think. Lived a relatively short life, only 50 some odd years, but in those years he built 4 of the world's largest telescopes in succession. He developed the entire field of astrophysics. He developed a journal called the Astrophysical Journal, which is still published today. He created the American Astronomical Society, which is what all the professional astronomers belong to today. And recently some new developments where they're encouraging amateur astronomers to join the American Astronomical Society. In his spare time, he helped build out the city of Pasadena, helped Henry Huntington developed the Huntington Library, which is an incredible 130-acre estate and amazing archive of science books and all kinds of books. He also developed the California Institute of Technology, otherwise known as Caltech. And so a very busy guy, didn't really have a lot of other time on his hands to get his family together like they did over this last weekend. We were invited to give or to set up and broadcast live the event. So if you had a chance to watch it live over last weekend, you got to chat and see some of this activity as Ed Krupp from Griffith Park Observatory gave a special talk. Sam Hale, the grandson of George Ellery Hale, gave some inspiring talks, and the president of the California Institute of Technology was there on hand as well. And then the second day, they went to Mount Wilson Observatory, listened to Dr. Wendy Friedman talk about the Hubble Constant, which was developed at Mount Wilson, and to talk about her work on the James Webb Space Telescope. She'll be one of the very first observers to use that instrument, and so it was a real honor. We got to see her talk, got to have dinner with her. It was just really, really cool. And then they went off and looked through the historic 100-inch telescope where the some of the measurements for the Hubble constant were worked out. So, Annie, you've been studying the James Webb Space Telescope recently.
Yeah, just in the last week. I am new to the education world, and so I'm in the middle of a speech class, and I had to pick my own topic. And when I was going through the TED Talks that really caught my attention, I was, because we're going to explore scientific. So that's kind of, it's like, oh wait, there's a telescope. We're talking about a telescope. Let's read that. And so let's watch that. And so I was really, really amazed. And in fact, I was telling Tyler about it today, and he goes, "Where have you been, Annie?" Sorry, under a rock. So, but it just really inspired me to think there is so much more out there, and especially whenever the gentleman that was talking, he was talking about new planets and how they're going to be able to see new planets and discover those and things like that. And so it's going to open up exploration really, really big. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
The telescope did that for us in it's been up there for like 3 decades now, 32 years, I think it's been up there, collecting data, still working today. But Jay West will be another, will leapfrog over what Hubble Space Telescope did for us. And so we're going to get to see the universe in a whole new light, amateur astronomers, Annie, a lot of the astrophotographers compare their 60-hour, 100-hour long exposures or whatever to the Hubble Space Telescope. That's kind of their benchmark.
Oh,
You're about to get a new benchmark. Okay, with Jay and the problem, a hurdle for them also will be is that Jay West images in the infrared, and you and I were talking about it earlier today, and you were talking about the gold that's on the mirror and mirrors, and that's gold reflects more infrared. It's higher performance in infrared.
Yeah. Well, that's really, and it's really neat how because I know as we were talking today, I was, you said they started this journey in 96, I think you said. They started this whole thing in 96. It's 96. And so it's just crazy to think about how far technology has come and how much further it's probably going to come even more. And so, the things that they've had to overcome and had to think about and achieve in order to even be able to get it into space is absolutely amazing. So I think what was the lady's name that was speaking? I'm sorry, Scott, but we just watched the video on
Wendy Friedman.
Okay, so did she say that was as thin as hair? is that what she said in her talk? That
It's atoms thick. I mean, yeah, she might have described it like that, but it is very, very. I mean, that's optical coatings, including the coatings that are on our telescopes, are they're the way that they're applied is they put the polished optic into a vacuum chamber. Okay, they pump out all the air. Okay, then they have a way of driving or vaporizing the materials that they want to use. In the case of J-West, they use gold. Okay, so they had gold pieces in there. They had an ion gun flowing an ion plasma onto the gold. Okay, now it's in a vacuum chamber, so it's making this cloud of gold that's covering everything, including the optics. Okay,
that's crazy.
So it's very, very, very thin. They usually put an overcoat to protect the coating. In the case of J-West, I'm not sure if they had to do that or not, because there is no air in space to oxidize the coatings. And gold doesn't really oxidize anyways, not like aluminum will, for example.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So did they? So then they mainly chose gold because of the oxidization. I can't even say it.
No, they chose gold because of the infrared reflectivity.
That's
infrared, because it's an infrared telescope. You know.
Yeah. So I didn't know if it was because of both of those things. Like I know silver probably doesn't do as well as gold, but I didn't know if maybe. It just sounds like it sounds like a material that is more durable and will achieve the things that they're needing. So, but it was, as we were talking today, the other cool thing was to think about how strong it is. I think you said that you could see the details of a penny 24 miles away. And then
right.
And then whenever we started, and whenever we started talking about it, then we started talking about, okay, well, how far can we see in a horizon? And you said like 3 miles is as far, if we're at sea level.
It's 2.9 miles or something, you know.
It's
so
like
if you're,
nothing.
I'm not even 6 feet tall. I'm like 5'10". Okay, so I can't quite see 3 miles out. Okay, even on a crystal clear day, looking out over the ocean at sea level, I'm only going to be able to see 3 miles out. You get some elevation though. Now you can start to see much further out, and many, rock climbers and stuff like that, or if you've been to the top of a mountain, you might be able to see 100 miles out. Okay. But imagine holding a penny out, somebody's 24 miles away.
You can see that. That's crazy.
What's the date on the penny here? Okay. That's what J-West can do. Okay, so.
I mean, and when it's in our hands, we have to like bring it up so close to our eyes just to see it.
Right. I'm using a magnifying glass, right? That's right. So
that is so crazy.
Super, right. Yeah.
So it's interesting. I think somebody on the chat is asking about what we think about civilization out there, and so. That's a great question. I mean, there's so many different kinds of things that could be living and growing that we don't, you just never know.
One of the big problems I think humans have is that we separate everything, right? We separate everything. You're separating the whites from the colors and putting in the washing machine. You're separating, which side of the road you're driving on. You're separating which ring you put your finger, you put your ring. We separate everything, okay? And therefore, we think that we're home base, okay? And everything out there is separate from us, okay? So when you ask the question, are there civilizations out there? We happen to be part of the out there, okay?
That's true. That is a true statement.
Absolutely connected to everything else in the universe. So if you want to ask, is there life out there in the universe, your first answer is yes, okay? Because we're here, okay? It's self-evident, all right, that we're already here. Now, is there other planets out there that have life on them? Probably, okay? Probably, because it happened here, okay? And so
Yeah.
I think one of the big fallacies that humans keep falling into is that we think that we somehow occupy a special place in the universe.
Mm.
It started with us thinking, in Ptolemy's time, okay, that we were the center of the universe. Earth was the center of the
Yeah.
universe, and everything went around us, okay? And up until really the turn, when the 1900s are getting established, Harlow Shapley is at Mount Wilson using the 60-inch telescope, measuring globular star clusters. Have you ever seen? I mean, have you seen globular star clusters with your telescope?
Not with my telescope. No, I have not.
Yet. Okay. Well, when you do, you're going to be blown away. They look like snowballs of stars. They're beautiful.
Oh,
I had to
wow.
I had to
Have you
wipe
seen
mine
it?
down because I was seeing globular clusters. Once I got rid of that, I was fine.
He was fine. Okay. Globular star clusters are some of the most beautiful objects in the sky, and they can be seen even with small telescopes. There's some real bright ones out there, okay? But they look like snowballs of stars, okay? M13 is like a really famous one, the Hercules cluster, okay? Well, these globular star clusters are formed around the center of our galaxy, like in a halo, okay? And
Okay.
so Harlow Shapley started making very careful measurements of these globular star clusters and measuring the distances to them, okay? Probably
Okay.
using the standard candle method, of how he's measuring how bright these stars are, okay? Oh, these are a lot fainter, therefore they must be a lot further away, okay? And so he learned after his measurements that, oops, not even the sun occupies the center of the universe. Up until that time, general accepted reality, as we want to call it, okay, was that the sun was in the center of the universe. Wrong. We're not even in a special part of the Milky Way, okay? And then we
Yeah.
discovered, oh, well, the Milky Way must be the center of the universe. Wrong again, okay? No, it's not. It's just one of billions or trillions of galaxies out there. So we do not occupy a special place in the universe, okay? Therefore, it's easy to infer that life is not as miraculous as it is, and how, that we think it's uncommon, okay?
Yeah.
We think it's uncommon. And some people, some theorists, or people putting forward hypotheses that that this is the only place where life existed, because we have not yet really detected, irrefutable, hardcore proof. Now, we're not like, with on the Tonight Show with an alien. Okay, we're not. I mean, it would be really cool if we were, but that hasn't happened yet. Okay, to our knowledge.
And I think
might have been an alien, but So.
You never know. I think that one of the things too is, though, as we wrap our minds around life out there looking like us, and it doesn't. Sometimes it could be a small thing, microscopic living thing that's out there that we don't know about.
COVID. Yeah, I would say that COVID is a living thing, okay, out there.
Yeah.
It's a virus, okay.
Yeah.
It collectively has a kind of intelligence, okay. It certainly kicked our butt, and right. So and things like viruses can actually survive the environs of the vacuum of space, and they're not the only things. All right, so there's possibly bacteria that had been blown out of our atmosphere by big asteroid impacts, for example, could have, with the solar wind, kept blowing out till some of it collected, rained down on Mars. So there's an idea that the genesis of life here, as amazing that kind of creation event is, may not be that unusual in the universe. All right. So we, as far as being very technical, humans are still not super ultra technical. I would say they just found, I don't know if you saw this, but they just found some human remains that are now dating 1 million years earlier than the oldest human remains ever
Oh,
found. So
wow.
it puts humans back to about 3.5 million years. All right, well, let's just take the last 50,000 years. How much did we technically really know? Not much, okay? Then you keep
Yeah.
compressing it to, maybe the last 500 years. 500 years, it started getting pretty interesting. The last 400 and some odd years, we got the telescope, okay? So, and now today, we go all the way from Galileo's kind of not very great telescope to the James Webb Space Telescope,
Yeah, they were 300,000 years old, according to the carbon dating.
You're talking about these
What was?
remains?
Yeah, the remains.
Oh,
3 million.
Huh?
he said 300,000.
What's the byline on this? What date is this?
Yeah.
That's why I got to 2017.
Go a little further. Well,
Right.
if you honestly think about it, and like when she showed the Eagle's Nest nebula, and she called it a nursery of creating stars. If you think of everything in that aspect, then you have to come to the conclusion that there must be life somewhere. I mean, that's being created. Life's always being created
It's
here.
right here.
I mean,
It's right here.
you can't just assume that this is the only planet that has life on it. I mean, it's so it's just, I don't know. It's really interesting to talk about.
We can't say for certain that it is. We can't. Also, you can't say that it's not. Okay, so that's the deal on that. Most people who study science, follow this kind of stuff, do realize the distances involved. Okay, we are light years away from other stars, and so that's the deal. It is very intriguing to think about. If you went to Pekka and Connor and you guys that are really kind of commenting on this, if you went to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and you asked the scientists there, okay, what is it that we're studying now? I mean, we kind of went through an era in astronomy where we were making maps. Okay, we were saying, okay, plotting this, and voila, we got a constellation. Okay, then we started trying to refine the positions of the stars. Okay, then we learned how to measure the stars. Okay, the distance to the close stars. And then we started measuring, and then this expansion thing of, which started really and got kicked off big time in 1923 when Edwin Hubble discovered a variable star in the Andromeda Nebula. Okay, that happened at the 100 inch at Mount Wilson. And suddenly we went from, oh my goodness, the whole universe isn't just the Milky Way. There are lots and lots of these other island universes. Yeah, and so that went from, I don't know, probably thinking initially there's a few hundred of them to a few million of them to a few billion of them, and now maybe it's a trillion, and maybe there's parallel universes. So that's
there's no count. I don't think we can count how many things are probably out there. It just keeps going and going and going, which is amazing. I mean, what a great exploration, to be able to be a part of and and watch that journey unfold. I mean, I know that they had major things to overcome, from getting the telescope into the rocket to getting it out into space and unfolding it, and there was just a lot to do in order it to be able to do that. And so, and I want to know who thought. Okay, I just can see them trying to figure out, this telescope is way too big to fit in a rocket. Let's figure out how to origami fold it down so it'll fit in there.
It was an origami. It was just amazing. I mean, I think Wendy said in the talk there was like 100 points of failure. There was more than 100 single points of failure. I think it was like 300 some odd. Just crazy, okay? Numbers of likelihood of failure on this instrument. But the point I was making about the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, if you went to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory today and asked them how are they studying, what is it that they're really after to study in the universe, It's not
Hmm.
distance. It's not the spectral analysis so much. Okay.
Yeah.
What they're searching for is life. Okay. And
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
very
that's really what
serious
we, yeah.
about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's why they're constantly looking for new planets. I mean, the first time I read about, I think Jerry Hubble. I read an article on Jerry Hubble, him figuring out. I can't remember what kind of planets they are, but because of the way they pass, the light that comes, like you could just see the shadow of it, and so
yeah.
that's how getting it out. And so
The iconic Galileo Scope is perfect for emerging astronomers to learn about the science of optics and the inner workings of a telescope as they build their own 50mm refractor. The kit requires no tools and includes everything to make a compact, reliable telescope.
Hey friends, Kit Marts here with Explore Scientific. And Paul, I'm hearing the sound about
Yeah.
5 seconds late.
No,
It
it's
sounded
not.
like
It's
the
just
thing went
messed
like
up.
through both ears or something.
Oh, okay,
We've
is that
been
what it
having
was?
We've been having a little bit
Yeah,
of
yeah,
issues
yeah.
today, and I'm working it out as on the fly.
Yeah, it was like I started talking and all of a sudden the sound came through my earbuds, and that was disconcerting to say the least. Hey Scott, how you doing?
I'm good. A little tuckered out from traveling back and forth to California. I was at the uh, we had a very special weekend with the George Ellery Hale family. They had a reunion that was celebrated at California Institute of Technology in Caltech, Pasadena, and and then we went to Mount Wilson Observatory. There were great talks at both places. It started off with the president of Caltech was there talking to the extended family of the George Ellery Hale family. George Ellery Hale, I think, died 1938, something like that. I think he was only in his 50s. But during his lifetime, he built four of the world's largest telescopes, including the Yerkes 40-inch refractor, the Mount Wilson 60-inch telescope, the Mount Wilson 100-inch, where they discovered, these two telescopes, they made major discoveries about our galaxy and about the universe. At the 60-inch, they discovered, Harlow Shapley discovered that the sun, it was believed all the way from the time that, from Galileo's time till that time, that the sun was probably the center of the entire universe. And so Harlow Shapley, by measuring the distances to globular star clusters, was able to determine that that was not the case and that we did not occupy a special place in the Milky Way itself. Then in about 1923, after the completion of the 100-inch telescope, they were able to photograph an individual variable star called a Cepheid variable in what was called the Andromeda Nebula at the time. They just thought it's kind of a circular, pinwheel of a gas in the Milky Way, and he determined that this nebula was indeed another island universe of stars, and so voila, other galaxies are discovered, and the universe expanded overnight by millions and millions of light years, containing what was then thought to be millions and millions of galaxies, which now is considered to be billions of galaxies or maybe trillions of galaxies. So, the search goes on. What was so cool is on, at Mount Wilson, Dr. Wendy Friedman, who, by the way, is going to be one of the very first astronomers on the James Webb Space Telescope. She gave a lecture about the refinement of something called the Hubble Constant. This is something that Edwin Hubble came up with as a measuring stick to measure the distances of galaxies. And so there's been this continued research and work towards refining that number. And they use standard candles of different stars and their brightnesses to determine these distances. And so these standard candles, which also include supernovae and different types of luminosity that they can detect, redshifts, these kinds of things, help us to understand the size of the universe. And so it was just it was a real honor to broadcast these things. So we, Explore Alliance did broadcast them on several channels, including Mount Wilson's own Facebook social media channel. So it was nice. And then on July 4th, I got to see some fireworks. That was cool. And, we visited dealers, and and then circled back here to Arkansas to face triple-digit temperatures. It was so hot. It was so hot yesterday. But anyhow, Kent and I have been talking a lot about the upcoming star party, the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party, and we encourage you to come. Kent, why don't you give some of the lowdown on the second Arizona Dark Sky Star Party? You were at the first one, is that right?
I was at the first one. It was in 2019, and Fabulous Dark Skies had never been to a star party in Arizona. Have driven through a couple of times, but never been to a star party there. Went to Lowell Observatory for the rededication of the Clyde Tombaugh telescope there, and on the way back we pulled in and some dark places and just pulled off the side of the road at a desolate exit, and Clint Brandon and I had some viewing there, but it wasn't like the wonders of the dark sky that we got at Kartchner Caverns, which is southeast of Tucson. And for a variety of reasons, we've moved it to Oracle State Park, which is northeast of Tucson, blocked by, is it Mountain Lemon? Is that correct?
It's blocked by Mount Lemon. Actually, the dark sky reading is very, very close between the two sites. And, Kartchner, I think, is about a tenth darker on average. But, in this situation, other things affect just how, dark things look, and this has a lot to do with, transparency, humidity, dust, these kinds of things come into play as well. But I think we're in for a treat. We did, Mike Wiesner and I did an on-site inspection and used the SQL meter to get light readings that were, 21 plus. And it wasn't even dark yet. It was like, I think it was like 8:30 at night that we did these readings, maybe more towards 9 o'clock. So, it doesn't really start to get super dark until, maybe after 11 o'clock, something like that. So
when you were out there, obviously in September, it's going to get dark a lot earlier. So
that's right.
We haven't said the dates. September 1 through 25.
September 21, not September 1.
Oh,
September 21.
Yeah. September 21. Yes, we're having a 25-day star party.
Okay?
So,
no, it's going to be September 21st to the 25th. And so it's going to be really great. Now, something else that's happening in the community of Oracle is that the Friends of Oracle, which is Friends of Oracle State Park, is a supportive group of the state park area itself, but there's also the Oracle Visitor Center. And so they're getting musicians, artists, the Catalina Council of Boy Scouts will be there doing their activities. We can expect talks at Biosphere 2. We got Biosphere 2 coming up. We have people like that have been selected, like Adam Block and Fred Espenak and some other luminary type speakers I think you'll really enjoy. We will broadcast live some of these talks, not all of them. We hope to have some amateurs that are astrophotographers that will show live views through their telescopes while they're out there. So, it's been a long time since we've actually gone to Arizona for these star parties, and so we're hoping that you consider making the trip out there. I did mention I was in California, and I did see the high price of gasoline that was out there. But as you get out more towards Arizona, fuel becomes cheaper and cheaper. And so I think that, if that's any consolation for you, that's something to think about. We are also working with Biosphere 2 as far as accommodation. So you can get rooms there. You can buy I think it's a 5-night package. It ends up being $120 a night. They have dormitory style rooms, but I never visited a dormitory that's this nice, so it is, they give you fresh linens and it's a nice setup. You will share.
There's no room service.
No room service.
No linen service.
There are B&Bs there that you can get, and if you like the Airbnb type of thing, those are available as well. So there's no shortage of rooms for the event, we think I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
So if you want to book a room at the Biosphere, you have to go through us. They do not have a reservation system. They're not a hotel. So these are rooms that are generally set up for visiting scholars and college students and things like that. And so they don't have a mechanism. So you have to go through us to reserve those rooms. And Scott, do we have a page up for that? I don't.
Yes, we do. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's recognize some of the people that are watching right now. We have Tarek watching from the UAE. He says, hello, Beatrice. Harold Locke is watching. Beatrice says, hello, Kent, Scott, and Paul. Andy Scarborough from customer services watching right now. Mike, did you pull over and get a lawn chair out? Okay.
He said he was watching, but traveling.
Okay. Oh, he was like on the road or something? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mike Wiesner's watching. Mike has been very instrumental in getting things, he's been our man on the ground there in Oracle. He lives in Oracle. He can attest to its dark skies. And he's made some really nice Milky Way shots from Oracle State Park. Norm Hughes is watching. And who else? Osmosis 007. He's probably a James Bond fan like I am. I love that.
Osmosis 007. He's been on a number of our broadcasts asking some really great questions. He's a great addition to the family. Absolutely. Good to see him on. So I'm looking for the link.
For the link?
To Biosphere. Is it on the Arizona page?
Here, I'll find it for you. Hold on.
Because I've got my screen up. I can share. Here, I found it. No.
You found it? Okay. Yeah,
so
if
Paul,
you want to
share the screen for me?
What's that?
Paul, you want to share the screen? Okay, Paul can share my screen through the.
Okay, sounds good.
So, the picture, you think of college dormitories, you say dorm rooms, and we've all seen dorm rooms on college campuses and dormitories, but there's a picture down the walkway, and that is just attractive as can be right there. $512. If you're coming with a group and there's going to be like 6 of you, let us know and we will make sure that we block you all off together in the same dorm room, or we'll separate you if you're not that good of friends or you want to meet some new people as well. We can block you off so that you have rooms with people, if you want to
Yeah.
do that. And
The other thing I'll point out here, it's not a hotel. And unlike hotels usually have like things like special taxes that add on to your cost. Sometimes parking, which adds on to your cost. Sometimes resort fees, these kinds of things. So they'll come up with you'll see advertise a lower price for a hotel room, and then you end up paying, if it's $100 or something, or $120, it quickly adds up to like $150, $160 before you're all said and done per night. And so, but this is not the case here. This is roughly, I think $120 a night, something along those lines. So,
and no hidden fees, no hidden taxes.
Right.
It's just $512 for the event.
Right, but you can't pick up the phone and get room service. No. Okay, so that's the deal.
And the towels you get on day one are the towels you use the whole week. Scott, did you take this picture, or was this
No. This is just a very nice photograph of the Arizona desert region, and
it looks like the sidewalk is wet. That's why I was going to ask.
You're talking about this picture here?
No, I'm talking about this picture up here on the screen right now. So
let me see.
It's not on anyone else's screen, Ken.
No, that shot of the Casita rentals is from the Biosphere website.
Yeah. So the sidewalk looks wet. That's why I was asking. So they took it.
Yeah, it was probably right after a monsoon rain or something like that.
Right. So,
but you guys will remember that Biosphere was an experiment to see if people could live in an enclosed environment, making their own oxygen and their own food and all of that stuff, for a Mars colony. So,
and while, it had problems, they had to put in more moisture and air from oxygen from time to time, but it's not a failure, because science is not about failure. Science is about learning from failure. And the things they learned,
they need failure to know where so you push the limits until you get failure, and then you start to learn from that. If everything's going fine, you just don't know when it's going to go bad, right? So
and you definitely want to, long before you get to Mars, you want to figure out where failure point is. Most assuredly, if you've never been to dark skies, this is an opportunity to get there. It's going to be great weather. It's not monsoon season. The highs, be warm. It'll get cool in the evenings. Deserts are hot during the days and cold at night. So prepared for, to be in the 80s or 90s and maybe the 50s or 60s in the evenings. But we got 4 spectacular nights back in 2019. If we get 4 spectacular nights again, we'll be doubly lucky. But it is extremely dark. The first night the sun goes down, if you've never seen a dark sky, you're not going to be, and you're good at finding constellations.
Yeah,
you're going to be blown away because you can't find the constellations. There's so many stars that constellations are not apparent. And that was the most overwhelming thing I had back in, in the 2000, 2001, when I went to the Nebraska Star Party for the first time. It was jaw-dropping, and you need to experience that. And we're going to be doing astrophotography. We're going to have people showing you how to do it, helping you do it. Bird watching. September is the fall migration, and there will be a host of birds migrating through that we will be. I believe we've got a bird watcher expert who's going to be leading some talks, and we'll have some binoculars there for people to borrow. I believe they check out binoculars from the visitors center as well. So it's going to be a good time. We're planning to
bring some optics for people to use, of course. And the one special optic that we're going to bring, Kent, is the new Alpen thermal imaging optic. Okay, now this is really cool. This is something that just fits in your hand. Okay, you press down the button, and it's beyond seeing in the dark. Okay, anything that's warm is going to be picked up over the background areas. So we're going to be setting these things up on tripods overlooking the watering hole that's out at Oracle State Park. And you're going to see some amazing animal life at night. So I think it'll be very cool.
Because the things you see at night are completely different than the things you see during the day generally. That's going to be cool as well. And Scott, I'm going to have the BT giant binoculars out there.
Nice.
I cannot wait to see what it looks like. So we have one pair here. We have more coming, but they're 120 millimeter diameter telescopes mounted side by side as a pair of binoculars with 2 eyepieces. Will blow you away. The sky is going to look, I can't wait. The moon looks amazing through it. I cannot wait to see what the dark sky in Arizona is going to look like through these. When you're using both eyes, the way your brain is engineered to see things in a true binocular fashion, it's going to be pretty cool, Scott.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Stargazer Man wants to know, he says, hey guys, where on the Bortle scale does the site sit? I would say it's between a 1 and a 2, okay, is where it's at. I have been to darker sites, but in order to get to those sites, you have to go way out there, way beyond any civilization, so I have, I've been at Bortle 1 skies, where the nearest town was like 100 miles away, so that's, or 70 miles away. I would probably rate the Nebraska Star Party at Bortle 1. The drive to the next closest town, which is Valentine, is a little bit of a jaunt away. So
it's 40 miles away.
Yeah. So Big Bend National Park is Bortle 1. But again, you're very, very far away from civilization. We did not want to pick a site where it was only for the most extreme dark sky site or the most extreme away from civilization. This is close enough and dark enough where astronomers can be satisfied. Deep sky observers, I'm a deep sky observer. I love to do visual observations. You're going to be able to see some amazing stuff from there. Astrophotographers, absolutely, it's going to be no problem.
Base station batteries are down to 1 bar.
You'll see the Gegenschein. You'll see the zodiacal light. The Milky Way looks like a storm cloud overhead. So it's going to be amazing for you.
Where do you like it? Right about
Scott, I've gone to light pollution.
Yeah.
It's not a skill like that.
Now,
Portal 2.
One of the things I learned about light pollution maps, okay, is that they don't tell the entire story of how dark it is, okay? And so this is, I think it was Mike Wiesner, he's very involved with the International Dark Sky Association. He said it's a little bit, it's a good read, but does not really tell you what you can or cannot see from a site. So
right, because it's about air. It's about air cleanliness. It's about transparency, steadiness.
Yeah. Like in Arkansas, we have Bortle 1 and Bortle 2 skies out here, but there's so much humidity in our skies that rarely can you see anywhere near what you could see from maybe a Bortle 2.5 sky from a very transparent, like a desert site, for example. So,
right. Hey friends, Kent Marts here. Welcome to Thursdays on the Wing. It is not Friday. I was getting ready for the First Light Chronicles episode tomorrow, and did focus on astrophotography on Friday, and didn't get any bird pictures ready.
Find them as you go.
No birds have been, no submitted pictures from our viewers out there this episode. Sorry about that. Have a bunch from Carl Bernhardt and a couple other people to use. I just didn't. I was working a day ahead, trying to stay ahead, and I got too far ahead. But that's the way it goes. But we're going to talk about birding today for On the Wing. So, this is a warm-up show for our Amazon live broadcast at 2 o'clock. I think
it's
Paul
okay,
is gonna,
Kent.
Paul is, but, the issue is it's more than just pulling a bunch of pretty pictures of birds. It takes time to research said birds so I can talk from somewhat of a knowledgeable position to explain what the birds are, where they live, some habits, their colorations, and things like that. So
it's okay, Kent.
It's not okay. Not okay.
It's absolutely wonderful.
Will we get through it? You betcha, Paul. But nope. I need to have birds submitted by our viewers or taken by one of the local guys and have educational information about said birds. Just because I can identify them doesn't mean that I know a bunch about them. Some I do, some I don't. So anyway, that's the way it goes.
You do realize you have an asset sitting here in your producer.
It takes me about an hour to do the research on 5 birds. So
yes, but I can do it live and read it to you.
Yeah, I rewrite it and
I know.
Get from you generally use 3 different sources, so I'm speaking from a position of at least some education. So
you
the
don't need
more
no
obscure,
educations.
The more obscure the birds, the more less I know about them. Yes, the more less I know about them. So anyway, thanks for joining us. We're going to jump in. Right now, I'm going to talk about in front of me the probably pinnacle of bird watching is using a spotting scope. And I have in front of me the Alpen 20 to 60 power by 80 millimeter spotting scope. This has a 45-degree angle, so it's really comfortable to look down into. Let me pull this cover off. It's on there pretty good. We don't get to pull it off very often. It's getting easier. Has an extendable dew shield sunscreen, just right there. It comes out. Look at that beautiful piece of glass, 80 millimeter diameter, sucking in a whole bunch of light, squeezing it down to come out up here in the eyepiece right here. Twist up eye cup. Now this is a waterproof spotting scope. It's argon or nitrogen purged. I never can remember which, but it's purged with an inert dry gas that allows all of them, forces all of the moisture out of the interior areas. Then it's sealed up and with O-rings, and now no air can get in. Since there's no air inside, there's no moisture inside, and because there's no moisture inside, the device, when the temperature gets just right, it won't fog up inside, ruining your viewing. It'll stay pristine. Now, will it get dew on the outside and fog up? Yeah, you betcha. I can go like this, and now it's fogged up. I can see the fog on there, but it doesn't mess up on the inside. It's a really high-quality device. Now, this is an expensive device, but it's a great investment. If you're really into birding and animal watching, a device like this should be in your Christmas stocking or your Christmas in July stocking. Yes, coming up on July 25th, Christmas in July. You need to buy one for yourself and have the investment. I like this spotting scope a lot. It has a coarse focus knob that gets you close, and then a fine focus where you turn this, and I've never tested it, but this knob turns, at speed. This one is like 10 or 15 times faster, allowing you to really focus really easily. It also has a cool little feature. Loosen that screw on the side, and you can rotate it to get it into a comfortable position for your eye to look through, so you don't have to be standing up, looking down into it. You can be sitting down and fix this affix it so that it's at a good position for you to use. Now, there's a 1/4 to 20 screw right here on the bottom. This screw will go on to this hole will accept any 1/4 to 20 screw on a standard binocular in tripod in North America, right? So you can put it on a tripod and off you go. Put it on a monopod. In the Amazon Live carousel, we'll have actually a mount that you can use in your car. So you roll your window down part way, has a little sort of U-channel that goes down over the glass, and then it turns it into a tripod head mount so you can move it left, right, up, and down. Very slick little device that makes it really nice. Now let's talk about one thing you need for birding. You can go out and look at birds, and that's fun just to look at how pretty they are and watch them and chase them around, try and find them. But you want to start learning about the birds, and a great way to do that is getting a bird book. And over in the Amazon carousel that we'll have up during the Amazon Live broadcast here at 2 o'clock Central Time, we're going to have the National Geographic Field Guide to North American Birds up there in the carousel. It is full of paintings from expert bird watchers, and they paint the perfect specimen, if you will. You don't have to rely on pictures. It's a painting with extreme detail and gives you the exemplar of what the perfect bird of that species looks like. Also get really detailed maps that show migration, all sorts of other information buried in those maps based on the way the lines are drawn. They're dashed, narrow dash, wide dashes. They're colored in 4 or 5 different colors. All of that information on the map tells you things about the birds. You can use the key in the back of that. I have 2 of those that I use. One I keep on my desk, and one I keep in my camping trailer. So when I go camping, I can identify the birds. I've added a few more birds since last week. I saw, let's see, and I've seen them before, but I have saw them over the weekend. Scissor-tailed flycatcher, which I've seen before, but I added it to my list, and didn't have any eastern bluebirds. I've added eastern bluebirds now, and as well as a barn swallow. Swallow has a nest under the eave up inside one of my son's barns, and it was living up there, swooping in and out, going after bugs. And so I've added 3 birds on the weekend without any effort, just going about my daily tasks. I picked up 3 more birds for my life list. Again, birds I've seen before, birds I know. When I look at them, I know what they are. Don't have to get a field guide out. But there's going to be birds. That happened a few weeks ago. I was camping, and there was a bird in the tree. It was clearly a sparrow. I identified it as a chipping sparrow by looking at it, really memorizing its color patterns, then going to sparrows, turning the pages until I went, bingo, chipping sparrow. So that adds a whole different realm of knowledge and enjoyment to bird watching. I get a lot of pleasure out of the challenge, chase of the hunt. You know, you hear a bird up in a tree, but trying to find it, it's there, you just can't find it. And, you know, you can listen to the song. There's some apps out there you can use that if you can get the song recorded good enough, it makes suggestions on what it is. So learning those bird songs as well helps you to identify the birds. So this is, back to the product, the Alpen 20 power to 60 power, meaning it has a zoom eyepiece that goes from 20 power, 20 times what your eye sees. It'll zoom up to 60 times what your eye sees. A fantastic zoom product, stays sharp and crisp throughout the zoom. The focus is very crisp and pristine. One thing I like about this one, it comes with this sleeve, and this sleeve is a nylon padded sleeve that the device will go into. And the cool thing about it is this is a storage sleeve, right? But also you can, if I open this up all the way, make it easier on myself, you can put the device in here, zip it up part way, keep it stored all the way, right? You can keep it stored in here with the end zipped up, or you can unzip the end, unzip this, and now you have access to the focus, you have access to the zoom, and right underneath here on this little zipper, you gain access to the 1/4 to 20 receiver, so you can mount this on a tripod as well. Yes, the device is waterproof, but let it get soaking wet. So if you're out in the rain, you can protect it a little bit and keep it protected from the elements even more. And a great way to store your device as well. You simply zip it up and put it, take care of it, because this is an investment and you're going to want to take care of your investments. Zip it up, put it back together, and there we go. Can I get it in there? Yes, I can. Maybe. We shall see. There we go. Got it seated on there. So it's now ready to store just like that. The Alpen's 20 to 60 by 80 spotting scope. Going to work down to the other end. So if you were watching earlier this week, you saw Tyler, who we call Grape Ape or Sasquatch. Hi, Tyler. I hope you're watching.
You're going to bring attention to the fact. No, don't do that. Just no.
We do this twist test, right, where you twist it. Tyler works out a lot and is immensely strong. When we talk about the twist test, we don't mean try to twist them in two. That's not the test. The test is just wiggle it back and forth.
He didn't really break it or anything.
Well,
because they still work.
Well, that's what I'm going to talk about. What he did was, instead of twisting like this, he put his thumbs up here like this so he could really twist. And when he twisted, he pushed with this hand and he popped that ocular off. Oh no, they're broken. Well, all we did was put the prism back in, get it oriented correctly, and glue the eyepiece back on. Can you break them? Yes, you can break them. Can you break the 20 to 60 by 80 Alpen spotting scope? Sure, you can break that. He can break anything. I can break things too. If I wanted to twist these, I couldn't twist these around in a circle, but could Tyler? Sure, probably. That's not the point. When we talk about a twist test, we talk about just applying some force and seeing if they wiggle. That's all. Not trying to twist them apart. Tyler, Sasquatch, Grape Ape, applied his big old lunkhead muscles to it.
Wow.
And see, he works at a gym where there is not a lunk alarm. So, he's actually looking real good. He's been working really hard.
Question for you.
Hang on just a second. He's been working really hard, getting ripped, going to enter a bodybuilding contest, I believe, in November. So he's really dropped the weight and really bulking up on the muscles. What's your weight?
That's funny.
What is?
Nothing. What is this bird?
I'll let it pop up here on the monitor close so I can see it. It'll take it a few more seconds, and here we go. It's a duck, I can tell you that. That is an Egyptian duck.
No.
Whistling duck.
Yeah.
There we go.
Egyptian black-bellied.
An Egyptian. I know it as an Egyptian whistling duck.
Black-bellied.
Black-bellied whistling duck.
It's native to Arkansas.
Yep.
How about that?
There's some on. I haven't added that to the farm to my list, but yes, there's a dairy farm just east of Pea Ridge that I saw some of those. I've always called them Egyptian ducks, but black-bellied whistling ducks are on that farm pond. And I didn't even think about it. Saw them when I drove by the last 2 times. I need to get a picture of them, but I don't have a camera with a long lens. I need to talk Scott into buying me one. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But go get a camera with a good lens, a decent zoom lens, and try and get a picture of those out on a pond. So there you go. How about that? Now this is blind. I have not. This is pure stump the chump. Right
I have one that I'm about to do.
You can stump me, especially with shorebirds, and the varieties of sparrows out there.
Oh no.
Warblers, things
Here
like that. Here we
go.
But while that's coming up, I'll talk, because you can see it, but I can't. It's got to come up on my monitor. This is a great pair of binoculars for kids. I advocate buying a pair for yourself. If you've got a kid in your life who wants to do birding, buy a pair for yourself. That's a grebe.
You're reading the caption.
No, I'm not.
Cheater.
I can't read the caption. It's a grebe. It's either a grebe or a hooded merganser, one or the other. I don't think it's
an
a
eared grebe.
It's a grebe. What is it?
Eared.
Eared grebe. There we go.
Yeah.
It's
another
grebe.
native Arkansas.
I can't see. To read that, I've got to get up. I can't even read it. It's pixelated over here on the screen. So it's just a couple of pixels. Can't read it.
All right.
So give me another one. Stump the chump.
Oh, here's one.
Back to the binoculars. If you want to go out and take a kid out, use the same gear they're using. My dad did that when we went fishing. He bought me adult gear. Well, you know, in the same vein, go out and use the kid gear fishing, or buy yourself a pair of binoculars. Take a kid out with the same binoculars. If you want to do astronomy with them, do astronomy, watch deer, whatever it is. But get the same gear they get. It's going to be an adventure for the kids, and you're going to open them up to a whole world of potential.
So, question.
Yep, I thought you were going to show me a bird.
I am, but I'm going to ask you a question first.
Okay.
Since this is Facebook, we could kind of, you know, we have a little bit more leeway.
Yes.
And what bird that was common in 1895 could be found everywhere?
Passenger pigeon.
There you go. Why did they go extinct? I can't remember.
Market hunting. People
Market
love to
hunting?
eat pigeon, and there were massive flocks, estimated to be like 5 million birds, and in the course of about, I think it was literally like 30 years, we literally hunted them to extinction. The last passenger pigeon died in the zoo in the 20s, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Yeah. You know,
That's crazy.
It's a bird it literally in a generation hunted to extinction.
Why? There's like no meat on those bones.
Oh, there are on doves.
Not on
Dove
the
breast.
passenger pigeon.
The pigeon is a dove. Doves and pigeons are the same. And
There you go.
You know, I've eaten plenty of mourning doves, and you know, they're very tasty. Pigeons are even bigger.
I don't want to eat a morning dove, and it's not morning as in Monday morning. It's morning as in they're sad.
Speaking of doves, we could call up a Stevie Nicks song and play
Yep.
a 6-second snippet of this bird, and I wouldn't have to tell you what it is. It is the white-winged dove.
Yeah.
Goes coo, baby, coo.
Really?
I am not going to attempt to sing in the lovely voice of Stevie Nicks. White-winged dove. All right,
Nice.
so you're going to get one here. I don't know any, but, you know, we'll see how it comes up.
So this is
This-
before the show. Kent was saying, "I gotta have all this research," but so far, he hasn't needed
But
the research.
I can, you know, eared grebes, I can't tell you much about. I knew it was a grebe. The white-winged dove is a bird of the southwest and western United States. However, its population is expanding eastward, and now it's all over the country. I have not yet seen one. I think I saw one down in Fort Worth, Texas, when we were down there a couple of months ago, but I couldn't get close enough, didn't have any binoculars. The picture I took with my iPhone did not zoom in enough. It was not enough detail to be able to sure it was a white-winged dove. But sooner or later I'm going to see one, and we will go from there. Bresser, specialized kids binoculars. Yep, they're specialized kids binoculars, but these are great binoculars. You know, the difference is they're not quite as wide in the interpupillary distance. So you can get here and get it focused. Won't focus quite real close like a lot of really high-end binoculars do, but that's not the point. Has a diopter right here, has a glass prism, has glass lenses in it. Now these aren't, you know, fully coated or multi-coated, but for a great starter pair of binoculars that you take care of, you can get long service life out of. These are
Now-
them. 6 power eyepieces.
A spotting scope would be best for birds, if you ask me.
Binocular, well, spotting scopes, and let's do it real quick. 21 millimeter, that's what the 6x21 means. So go ahead, Paul.
Grab a spotting scope. Don't you have one behind you?
Yeah, it's all packaged up.
You just had it out a minute ago.
Well, yeah, but I packaged it up for transportation in my vehicular. But I can get it
That's
out.
also great for stargazing,
Here we go.
right?
Good for stargazing.
It's great for stargazing.
You know, telescopes offer different things than a spotting scope does, but go ahead. So spotting scopes are nice. They have a lot of power and a lot of aperture. You can't handhold them, so it's trade-offs. If you're out going through the woods and you don't want to carry this all day probably, this is going to be where you go to like a birding blind over at Lake Fayetteville and set in the blind and can move it around.
We
and
should
do that. But if you're
do
going
this
hiking,
show from
we're gonna
there
do that.
one
We're gonna
day.
we'll do a morning show sometime when it starts getting light early in the morning. You know, later in the morning this fall, we'll go out there and do a live broadcast from there. That'll be fun. You know,
yeah, we should-
actually from the bird blind. That'll be a hoot. Maybe
Why
get a
can't
local
I
birder to go
log
with us.
into this?
Huh?
I'm trying to log in and get the chats for On the Wing on our YouTube, but it's not letting me.
I was wondering where the chats were.
Well, there's nobody talking right now.
Hey, everybody out there, talk, ask, say howdy,
The
or
heck?
hola, or whatever word it is that you want to give us. That's a welcome greeting. See, I modified my statement there, didn't I?
So I got one for you that's going to stump the chump.
We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Ready?
So yeah, you know, spotting scopes and binoculars are much more portable and easy to go. Oh, there's a bird up there. Whereas with the spotting scope, much harder to point and much harder to move. So there's, you know, there are trade-offs. That is a. Is it a North American bird?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with.
It's been spotted in
Hang
Arkansas.
on. It's not. It's not a lesser yellow legs. It's a. It's an ibis.
Nope.
What is it?
You not gonna try more?
There's too many. Shorebirds are not my thing. Or wading birds are not really my thing. Ducks are okay, but
It's a limpkin.
limpkin, yes, okay, a limpkin,
What is a limpkin?
a shorebird, a wading bird. It's like you know, I've read about them. I've seen pictures of them. It's a bird that wades like an egret. It's probably an egret-related bird in the family of egrets, would be my guess. You know,
egret?
they're going to feed on aquatic invertebrates, crawfish, things like that. I do not believe they're a filter feeder like some birds are. These are. Seems to rub my eyes. My allergies are killing me.
Sorry.
They're going to be.
There you go. It's the Audubon Society there. See? Limpkin.
But I got close.
It's very much a South American bird, obviously.
Yeah, but they're along the coast, and it seems like I read this spring that they found a nesting colony in extreme southeast Arkansas.
Yes.
Out in the. Is that where you found this bird? Yeah, they found the limpkins and flamingos and another bird nesting in southeast Arkansas on a private farm swamp/reservoir. So.
See if we can
Very
get the
cool
audio.
to see, and they're not releasing the location where they are because they want it to, you know, keep breeding. Look like a pretty good-sized bird. Yeah,
Trying to get the call. Here, let's see.
I know how its call is. It goes, here, Paul. Here, Paul. Here, Paul. Here, Paul.
Listen.
Here, Paul. Here, Paul. Here, Paul. Here, Paul.
Stop. Listen.
That's the call.
Stop.
I'm almost positive.
It like grunts.
See, I can't hear it. So
I know you can't.
I know.
Interesting.
Big bird. That's a big bird.
Big bird?
Yeah, egret-sized bird.
Yeah. Kind of neat.
Yep.
See?
So, what time is it, Paul?
Almost time. We got 5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right, let's go start back over here. Go back over and talk about the old, really good selling on Amazon.com. The and you can buy them through our website as well. These are the National Geographic 8 by 42s. The 8 means the eyepieces have 8 power magnification, magnifies what you see by a factor of 8, and 42 means it has 42 millimeters of objective lens. That's the size of the hole that's sucking in the light and then projecting it out from the exit pupils into your eyes. Oh, wow. This is a fully, this is multi-coated, not waterproof, have twist up eye cups, passes the twist test with flying colors, unless you're Tyler, who tries to rip them into. And, he won't live that one down. I haven't seen, let me go back and watch the recording of that popping off when they go, oop, and see what Annie's reaction was when that happened. It'll be sort of fun. I think that was on Tuesday. I go back and look up that. So if you have noticed, we're running content basically 24/7 now, and we're trying to make sure we show which is live. And the problem is the recorded versions also say live up in the corner. So Paul has engineered a bug that says recorded earlier or something along that line, trying to give people a clue that we are truly not live or live. I know we have had a couple of people in the last few shows, so are you guys live right now? And it's like, yes, we are live. We answered the questions, so we are. So love to answer the questions. Paul, did you get the restream to come up? So we see the questions?
Something went awry, and it caused the video to be named incorrectly on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
So people are like, who the heck is this,
So did you fix it?
I've just now fixed it.
All right. So it went awry. So
it did go awry.
So can things go a wheat or a pumpernickel?
Probably.
I heard somebody out there laugh. Somebody out there laughed at that dad joke.
There's only 2 people watching right now.
I appreciate. Well, one of them laughed. So I appreciate that very much. All right. Yes, indeed. So give us a shout out. Probably, how close are we, Paul, to segueing
into a minute.
Amazon Live? All right, so we're going to go down for a little bit and have some placeholder video running, and then we'll come back up live on Amazon.com Live, Amazon Live, where I won't be able to talk about buying things on our website, but I'm going to say it before we get on there. You can buy all this stuff through our website as well, explorescientific.com, and you can buy it through there just as easily as you can buy it through Amazon.com. So with that, we will shift over. I won't mention any other live stream platforms because Amazon likes us to only say Amazon, which is a 7-letter word. Indeed. Throw some birds up there that I'm going to get, Paul, but every once in a while I'm not getting them to school too. Lincoln was a good one. Hey everybody, Kent Marts here. Welcome to Thursday's edition of Amazon Live. It's on the wing day, so I'm going to be talking about things that are on the wing. You and I call them birds. I was thinking today was Friday and was preparing to do the focus on astrophotography, and today was Birds Day. So I did not cull any pictures or pull any pictures from our viewers who have sent us pictures. We still have a good stock of pictures. You know, if we would love to see your pictures and be able to share them with our viewers on a future episode, you can figure out we'll tell you how to send them to us if you will go to the Explore Scientific store here on Amazon.com. Click contact the seller, and then Noam and Art will tell you how to get them to us. I think you can attach the pictures that way, and we can work out the deal to get those.
So Kent has a small problem. Got the batteries. They're on the wall. They're on the wall. Remember? Okay. See the green lights?
Keep talking. They're running some video.
The iconic Galileo Scope is perfect for emerging astronomers to learn about the science of optics and the inner workings of a telescope as they build their own 50mm refractor. The kit requires no tools and includes everything to make a compact, reliable telescope.
Explore One land and water habitat is perfect for young explorers to collect an assortment of creatures and keep them safe for in-depth observations of how they look, behave, and interact. The habitat comes with a convenient carrying handle and a built-in magnifying lens in the vented lid, as well as a handheld magnifier to assist in exploration and observation. Use the included tweezers to gently pick up insects, or the net to catch minnows, tadpoles, or even fireflies. Budding naturalists can prepare the container to mimic the habitat of land-dwelling subjects, or fill it with suitable water for our water-loving friends. Once your explorer has finished, they can easily open their habitat and free the research specimen. The rugged Explore One land and water habitat can be used again and again, opening a window into nature's wonders.
The Explore One CF600 telescope is easy to use and the ideal beginner scope. It includes a simple alt-azimuth mount and tripod that allows the user to smoothly move the scope up, down, and side to side. With a 50mm aperture, a 600mm focal length, and two 1¼ inch eyepieces, you can use varying levels of magnification to see those distant objects. It comes with a red dot finder for easy object location. The 50mm airspace doublet lens made from optical glass elements provide enough aperture and magnification to let you see Saturn and its beautiful rings. The Explore One CF600 telescope can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary for budding junior astronomers.
Well, wasn't that exciting, folks? Paul, we need to have Alex just wire those direct to an AC outlet so we don't have to worry about batteries dying in the microphone receiver units. And just in the middle of broadcast, finding out that Kent looks like he's coming out that right. So anyway, all right. So
Air the laundry on air.
Yeah, why not?
I mean,
live.
we might as well just let everyone know.
Why not? Transparency. We're a transparent company. We're easy to contact. You know, it's only clean laundry on Amazon Live, Noah says. We're transparent. We're easy to contact. You can contact us through the Amazon portal, through the chat right now. If you're out there watching, you can feel free to chat us up. Tell us you're there, ask a question. And if you enjoy the comedy hour, you can click the follow button and get notified every time
doing that.
That comes on. Sir?
We quit doing that.
No, we still have a little bit of comedy every once in a while.
We're not allowed.
I don't have the Amazon up on my monitor, so I don't know if it matters. You're going to throw the comments up. Yeah, if you're throwing the comments up, that's good. So let's start out birding. We were talking about birding. Over in the Amazon carousel right now, you're going to find something, if you're wanting to get into birding, something that is really going to help you down your career path, hobby path of birding. It's the National Geographic Field Guide to North American Birds. It's a great book. It's a fantastic resource. Has rare birds, introduced birds, all sorts of, transient visitors, and common birds that we're all going to see. Lots of sparrows and things like, cardinals and things like that.
It's only
that you're
$15.79.
And it's only $15.79. And folks, this book is about that thick. This is not an expensive book. So you pick it up. It's full of drawings. They're paintings, high quality paintings, showing the exemplar, the perfect specimen of what the bird should look like. Because when you get pictures of birds, yeah, the pictures are beautiful, but it may not be a perfect exemplar, the perfect example of what the bird is. And that's what the Field Guide to North American Birds from National Geographic does. It also gives you habitat, migration, habits, things like that, as well as pictures of juveniles, immature females. Really allows you to really drill down into each of those birds and go from there. So you can pick one up for under $20 over in the carousel. So I was thinking today was Friday, so I did not prepare any bird pictures for the day. So Paul thought it'd be fun to play Stump the Chump. And so far, I have not been stumped completely.
You were stumped on the one.
The Limpkin, but I was darn close, So the Limpkin was one. And he's picking birds that supposedly have been sighted in Arkansas.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of really crazy birds that have been sighted in Arkansas. One time back in 1953 and haven't been documented since. So we'll see how that goes.
See, you're just trying to cover your tail, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is a birding show. That's why I'm trying to cover my tail.
Dropped everything.
All right, so
Where is he? There he is.
Give me a bird.
I'm working on it.
And y'all are going to see it, 15 or 20 seconds before I see it. So you see it now, and I'm waiting for it to pop up on the monitor, and it's still not up, so here it goes. There must be, we're going to have to get the gerbils running the treadmill to get it going faster. That is a stork of some sort. A heron. It's a heron. It's not a stork. It's the one with a white belly. It's not a great picture of it. It's not a great blue heron, I don't think.
Come on, Kent. You can do it.
It's not a green heron. What is it, Paul?
Oh, I can't believe you don't know.
I got it's a heron.
There you go. Right there.
It's going to take 20 seconds. Tell me what it is.
It takes like 6.
No.
Tricolored heron.
A tricolored heron. Yeah, I've never seen one nor heard of that before. But the fact that I got that it was
that's a
heron,
blue one. No, so in the list that I'm showing, if they're blue, which this one was, this is from the Audubon Society, okay? If they're blue, then that nesting species, it means it's a nesting species in Arkansas.
Now, say again. If the bird
this
is
is
blue,
a nesting species in
If
Arkansas.
the bird is blue, it nests
if
in
the
Arkansas?
name of the bird was in blue, which this one was on the other page.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you were saying if the bird is blue, it's going to be a blue heron, and if it's got white on the belly, it's a gray heron or something.
I see these all the time.
You don't see tricolored herons.
I do too.
I think you see a lot of great blue herons, but the tricolored, I literally don't ever recall seeing a tricolored here or pictures of people locally getting herons. Terry Stanfield doesn't have one, and he took pictures out at the Eagle Watch Nature area which lots of herons out there.
Those are interesting.
Oh, birds are amazing. The variety in colors, you know, especially in breeding plumage or the males, just spectacular. See, that's a blue heron on the right.
Yeah, that's why I pulled it up.
Yeah.
Because that's what you wanted.
All right, so let's talk about a product, because this is a sales channel just a little bit. We do a lot of education, and Stump the Chump is going to be fun today. This is the Bresser Kids Specialized Binoculars. It says kids. This is a great binocular for adults to use too. The difference is that the interpupillary distance is a lot closer on these. I can use these with no problems, but if you have pretty wide eyes, you may not be able to use these. But I advocate getting a pair of these for you to use and a pair to give to the kid or kids in your life, and go out and do birding with them, do astronomy with them, go out animal watching with them, whatever. But learn to use binoculars. These are the real deal, folks. These are not a pair of toy binoculars. Metal body, glass lenses, glass prisms in here, a diopter to change the focus, so you focus with on your left eye with the focus wheel, and then you switch and focus with the diopter, and now both eyes are in focus. Passes the twist test, unless you're Tyler Bowman, and if you were watching Tuesday, Tyler proved why he's working on a bodybuilding thing. Instead of getting a hold of the body and twisting, we don't mean go crazy and twist them, but we call him grape ape or Sasquatch. If you're watching, you saw Sasquatch go to work. Instead of just
there
twisting,
are no safe spaces.
Nope, no safe spaces here. He put his thumb right here, and when he went to twist, he pushed like that, and he popped on this pair. He popped that right off. Well, prism goes back in, the prism comes out. We put the prism back in. We put the eyepiece back on, dab of glue, which is, they're glued in, off it comes. Can you break these binoculars? Yes. Can you break this spotting scope? Yes. You don't want to do either one. You want to take care of them. So Tyler took the discussion of twist them, what I call the Scott Roberts twist test. You know, if you go just gently and they wiggle, you know it's not put together real well. But Tyler went all out, and Tyler said, I'm working on a bodybuilding. I'm going to see if I can tear these in two. He probably could. He's going to be entering a bodybuilding contest in November. It'll be interesting to see what he looks at. Why do you keep laughing when I say that?
No reason.
He's getting pretty trim. He's lost like 50 pounds now, and has seriously bulked up. You know, so
Still
anyway, carrots. Let's just say he did a carrot cleanse Friday, Saturday, part of Sunday, and couldn't make it the fourth day and quit because it was just too much for him. But he did lose a bunch of body fat, so there was that. Anyway,
this time a year and a half ago, I was 50 pounds heavier than I am right now, and no one noticed.
2 years ago.
Year and a half.
Yeah, for me, year and a half, 2 years ago, I was 40 pounds less than I am now, and I put it all back on. The problem with losing weight, folks, is it comes off 150 calories a day and can go back on 3,000 calories a day if you're not careful. So anyway, the Bresser Kids Binoculars, Specialized Kids Binoculars, metal body. The yellow part is sort of a plasticized gripping surface. I really like this pair of binoculars. They're over in the carousel. They're really affordable. Again, they may be called kids binoculars, but these are the real deal binoculars. Glass elements, glass prisms, metal body, great pair of binoculars. You want a kid to go out and start learning to use binoculars, get them a real pair of binoculars. You know, real pair of binoculars is not that much more money than a cheap toy pair. Get yourself a real pair of binoculars if you're going to be going out with a kid. All right, so shifting along to a little bit more expensive binoculars. These are the National Geographic 8x42 binoculars. These are 4.5 star rating, and there's a bunch of reviews and ratings out there. A really good seller. I think it's probably the best selling binocular out there on Amazon for us right now. The National Geographic brand. 8 by 42. What does that mean? Well, I should have told you the little ones, but I'll tell you now. Hey, there's Daniel. Daniel, want to come over and be on TV?
Good luck.
No, he holds up something and walks out the door. He's not going to ever show his face over here. So these have twist-up eye cups. They're fully coated, which means this surface of glass and this surface of glass has specialized coatings on them. They are not waterproof. They're water resistant. A really good starting pair. What do those numbers right there mean? 8 by 42. It means the eyepieces give magnification of 8 power, and the 42 means the point where light comes in and gets squished down and focused for your eye is 42 millimeters across. The bigger they are, the more light comes into your eye. The pair of the kids' specialized binoculars we're just looking at, those are 6 by 21, meaning 6 power eyepieces, 21 millimeters here. So the 42s are going to collect pushing 3 times more light than the 21s, well more than twice. It'll be, but this is a great pair of binoculars, sturdy pair. Does it pass the twist test? Yes, unless you're Tyler Bowman and try and rip it apart. We don't mean try and rip them apart when you twist them. We mean just a gentle little twist, and sometimes you'll get a pair that goes whoop, whoop, whoop. You know those aren't a pair of binoculars for you. Real simple to use. Focus, right? Focus with your left eye. I never use my binoculars with the glasses. Focus with the left eye, just like that. And always cover up the right eye so both eyes are open. That doesn't deform your eyes by squinting or winking, closing one eye, and then shift to the other one and turn the diopter, and there we go. You can get both eyes perfectly focused. When you get both eyes perfectly focused, you don't have eye strain, nor do you have brain strain. So because you're able to relax, both eyes are in focus. One eye's not working to try and get into focus. Your brain is going to relax. You're going to see more details with your binoculars. So binoculars, this is a birding show. They're useful in a lot of realms, sporting events, outdoors.
The comet.
Again, birding. There's a comet up there in Ophiuchus that I don't know if you can see it with binoculars or not. You're going to have a good chance to do that. If you have some binoculars, it's in the southwestern sky. You have to know where to look.
It's up until September.
In the evenings.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we had a full moon last night, so just the day old full moon, and it was a perigee, apogee, and an oval orbit. Apogee is farthest away, perigee is closest. It's a perigee moon, so it was about 13% larger than average and potentially 30% brighter. That will still be really bright and a little bit bigger tonight. And that brightness makes things that are faint hard to find, comets being one of those when they're little comets like this. I look forward to the day that we get some really great comet, and the great comets is a formal name, meaning they're anybody who looks up is going to go, oh my gosh, there's a comet, right? Or at least notice, oh my gosh, there's something up there that is huge. It'll be a big knot with a big old tail that goes across the sky. Hellbop, Hakataki, or however you pronounce it. And then back in the 60s, there was comet. Can't remember if it's comet. There was one in the late 60s and one in the early 70s. One was Comet West. The other was Comet Bennett. Those were magnificent to see in the dark sky. Now, light pollution, something I advocate against all the time. There's no reason, and this is not an astronomy show, but I'm going to get on my soapbox
Commentary by Mr. Ken Marts.
Thank you, Paul Newton. So it affects birds. Light pollution affects birds as well as astronomers and lots of other things it affects. There's no reason to shine light up in the sky. The sky is not where we need light.
Unless you're looking for a helicopter flying over top of you, then you might need the light.
That's a transient thing. We don't need to install street lights.
What do you call me?
I called your thought a transient use. So you don't want to set a light that just shines half its light up in the sky all night, because
Is it
It's
specious?
wasting electricity. It's wasting light. That light goes up in the sky. It makes the sky glow. It reflects off of dust and other aerosols in the sky and makes the sky, the black sky, start turning whiter. Well, there's lots of beautiful things up there that are pretty faint, and when the sky becomes brighter than those faint things, they disappear and you can never see them.
I got a bird for you.
Like, for instance, hang on just a second. The Milky Way. 80% of the people in the United States today live in such light and polluted skies that they can't see the Milky Way. They become disconnected with a magnificently beautiful thing that's up in the sky in the evenings and night, right now through summer, and lots of you can't see it. All because we shine light up into the sky where we don't need it. How does it affect birds? Well, big cities put out so much light, the birds can't see the stars, and they circle around the city and either run into buildings or get trapped from exhaustion, and they just keep flying until the sun comes up. Through the miracle of Doppler radar, we've learned that birds begin migrating at night after sunset and then land before sunrise. But they just keep flying and flying and flying until they die. There's a woman in New York City who walks around one building, the World Trade Center complex, every morning before the crowds hit and picks up and counts every dead bird she finds. Hundreds of birds during migration. Every single morning she finds birds. Put some pictures of them, arranged in nice, neat, pretty little organized, beautiful birds. Sad because sometimes hundreds of birds in those pictures that she posts on her social media platform. What you got, Paul? Birds of the air.
What is it?
I can't see them. They haven't popped up yet on my screen.
You can see it.
I have an idea, but I'm not going to. There we go. Those be brown pelicans.
Yep.
As opposed to the American pelican, which is a white bird. This is a brown pelican. Fabulous birds to watch along the shore. They'll fly along in formations of 4, 5, or 6 birds, and the lead bird will do a wing over and dive into the water, and they'll all just do wing over and follow one after the other like fighter, like going back and you think about the fighter jets, all in formation, they all peel off and go after their opponent. Sort of what they're doing, except they're going after breakfast, lunch, or supper. So
guess what?
Very cool birds. I need to
I
add that to my life list.
I know everything about this photograph of these two birds.
Did you take it?
Yes.
Where'd you take it at?
This is in Panama City Beach, Florida.
When did you take it?
In 2011.
What was the shutter speed?
I can tell you that.
I figured you could dig up it doesn't matter.
I got it right here somewhere.
So obviously they're water feeders. They'll dive in and come
auto,
up.
so it didn't really matter.
Yeah. They'll come up and, with fish or without fish and then take to the wing and cruise. It's fantastic to watch them cruise along the shore. Very relaxing to sit there with a cool, refreshing drink in your hand in the shade of a blue umbrella and just watch the waves roll in and the brown herons do their brown heron.
There you go.
Brown pelicans do their thing.
Do. There they are. There's one of them. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. Apologize. My bad. See them?
Yep. Looks like a small picture. It looks jaggy. It must be pulling off of a social media site where you posted it.
No. That's full res.
It just must be the way it's showing up on TV.
Probably.
There you go.
He
brown.
was watching me.
Yeah.
He was going.
They're very humanized. Most of them become very humanized because they hang around docks, and like this is on a dock. You can see the.
It was like he was going to eat me.
He's not that big. They're big
No,
birds.
that's a big one.
They're big birds.
That bird is probably close to. I would dare to say he's almost 25 pounds.
Nah, birds are very birds can look very heavy and not be much because their bones are hollow.
I understand.
Feathers add massive. Look, you look up and see what the average weight of a blue.
That was a bigger one than normal.
Is.
That was a bigger one than you see before. We were all like
size of a wild turkey, size of a domestic turkey.
No,
bigger than that.
It was size of a domestic turkey, but it was way taller. So He might have been only about 12 to 15, but he was at least 12 pounds.
So these binoculars,
He was kind of scary because he was like, he was.
they
looking
clack
to
their
eat me.
bills, don't they?
He wasn't. He was
I
just
think-
sitting there. The
His
reason I
legs-
got this photo is because we were on a little boat tour, right? So we're in the water, and we're going down the water, and he is looking at me in the eye from almost 50 feet away. And I'm like, what are you doing? We're only going like 1 mile an hour
He's like,
in the water.
man, if that guy falls out of the boat, I could live for 2 months off of him.
Figure out how to carry me around.
Yep.
Anyway,
Luckily, they don't have claws, so he couldn't snatch you out of the boat. Anyway,
correct.
this is a pair of Alpen Magnaview binoculars. They're really compact binoculars. These binoculars are 8 by 25, 8 power eyepieces, a lot of magnification, 25 millimeter objective size pulling in light. Not real big, lots of magnification, but not real big. There's design trade-offs. If you want a pair of binoculars that you can carry around with you in your shirt pocket, well, they fit in this shirt pocket really well. In fact, if you want to buy a shirt like this one, you can go over in the carousel and pick up the Habit brand shirt right now. Not an Explore Scientific brand, but I wear these shirts a lot, and so I figured why not put them over in the carousel and sell them to our viewers. So the Magnaview 8 by 25 binoculars. Paul, you got some B-roll for this? I don't know. You remember
Not
if you do
at
or
the
not?
moment.
Okay.
I've got too many. I got too many other tasks
It's fun.
going
it's fun
on.
to pop things on Paul and watch him flap his wings, and get all.
Sometimes I can do it. Sometimes I can't.
So, pair of binoculars, really easy to carry. They go down into a very small, compact form. There's a neck strap. I just haven't put them on here. These are the Magnaview brand or series. So Alpin has a series of binoculars. As we go up, they get more expensive. These are very affordable binoculars. This bridge has a, because they're made as a compact binocular, they have a more compact focusing. Now these binoculars, once we get into the Alpen brand, these binoculars are waterproof, meaning they're purged with nitrogen or argon. The insides of them, the air is expelled, and nitrogen and argon are both dry inert gases. Therefore, they can't hold any air, any moisture, and so all the moisture leaves. They assemble them. The O-rings keeps the air out and the purged gas in, and voila, they won't fog up on the inside. Can they fog up on the outside? Yeah, but that doesn't damage them. When they fog up on the inside, they may never unfog, or it's going to keep doing it. These are fully multi-coated. What does that mean? That means that every surface of glass that light goes through has coatings on them, okay? That's fully multi-coated. If they're fully coated, it'd be glass on where your eye goes, that front surface, and that surface. Fully coated, that's what it means. Fully multi-coated, every piece of glass inside here has coatings on them. So, Paul, I saw you getting another bird ready over there.
Sort of.
Sort of, not ready yet. Alpen Magnaview 8 by 25 binoculars. Great pair of binoculars to carry with you in the outdoors. You see a bird when you're not out birding, you pull it out, start observing the bird. All right, what are we? That is a red slider, I think, on the log. And those, it's hard to tell. Oh, there's one. Those are mallard.
Nope.
Those aren't mallards.
Nope.
Can't see them enough.
You're so needy.
Oh, you can't see the birds. I can see
the birds.
I can see a white ring around one neck, what looks like a neck, which generally marks it as a mallard.
Once I tell you what those are, you'll be like, oh.
Sure. They're not. Hang on, let me look more. I can't see. Are those long legs on them?
Yeah.
So they're not a duck.
Well, maybe.
No, they're not a duck.
All right, here.
Hang on, let me.
Better.
They're not purple gallinals. Coots?
Almost. You're getting there. Those are loons.
Oh, there's a loons. Okay.
At Lake
Yeah.
Fayetteville.
Okay.
I took that photo. They were all sitting there sleeping.
Yeah, you
And
just can't
when I
see
went
them.
to develop it, I just thought it was a really interesting looking photo. I like
I wish that branch on the right wasn't there in the way.
It doesn't matter.
You
I
could cut
didn't
it down
even
real quick.
notice the turtle until I got home.
Yeah, red slider. You're focused. That's you focus on one thing and miss the other thing.
Well, no,
There
it was
an
too far
experiment-
away. That's what they 300 millimeter lens, and it's cropped in.
There was a experiment years ago where they had people in basketball players in red uniforms and white uniforms passing a basketball back and forth in a random pattern, and they
There's the turtle.
asked them to count how many times the players in red touched the basketball.
And they never noticed the gorilla that came out.
And then they asked him, what was the gorilla what was the gorilla carrying? And most of them, there were some that did, but an astounding number, well more than half. It was like
only like
up
one
there.
person even
yeah,
noticed
some
the gorilla.
very small number actually saw the gorilla because they were so focused on counting how many players in red touched the ball that they missed that somebody dressed up in a gorilla suit if I remember, he was carrying something or something.
What kind of turtle is that?
I think it's hard to say. It's not a snapping turtle.
No,
it's not a soft-shelled turtle.
Right.
It's probably
Not a
going
box
to be
turtle.
It's probably going to be a red-eared slider, and it's a very small one, so it hasn't juvenile, so it hasn't developed its red ear yet. That's my hypothesis, and I'm going to stick to it. A red-eared slider, which you can pet shops sell them.
So these birds have purple feet, purple webs on their feet.
Are you sure they're loons and not purple gallinals?
No, they're loons. So I looked them up.
Look up purple gallinal real quick, just to see. Gallin
Hang on. I gotta go back to the
EAU, I
shot.
think.
Merge.
If they have green legs and they're all black and have a little white spot on them, those would be coots, American coots.
Wait a minute. Maybe they're coots.
I think they may be coots, Paul. You can't. The light is so you can't tell if their legs are green or not.
No, the legs wouldn't be green.
Very strange looking coots have very strange looking legs.
There's coots and loons out there.
Coots and loons.
Yep. No, those feet are not the right feet. No,
Paul,
these birds,
Paul.
they're not coots.
Coots and loons sounds
I
like a
know.
bar to me.
They're not coots because the feet are completely wrong. The feet on a coot is like a big claw-looking
So
thing.
put up a loon and put up a purple gallinal. This is how you narrow down what the birds are. I have these discussions with people. You know, I'll think what it is, so I'll send it to Dan George, and he and I will talk back and forth about what it is and isn't until we come up with what we would like to think is an absolutely correct, definitive answer.
These are coots. But it's weird because their beaks. Yeah, no, there it is. I can show you. Yeah. I got it now. So let's see here. Get this dude pulled
So while
up.
he's doing that, we're going to talk about another
All right, here we
series of
go.
binoculars.
Look here.
Alpen Wings 8x34s.
See?
No,
It'll pop there.
I know it.
So this is a coot from Wikipedia.
That is indeed a coot.
And
Look
you
at
see
the red eye,
see the feathers.
white bill, and a really funky foot.
Yeah, but see his beak.
And look at their tails too.
Yeah.
There's no
Well, he
tail.
didn't have a tail there, but
There's no tail.
if
And
you
when
come back to
they
these,
have to run. They have to run, or I don't know if they have to, but when they take off, and generally they're in big old rafts of birds, when they take off, it's a great, squawking noise. Their wingtips hit the water. See, there's a tail on there. You can see the white tail on one of them.
It was
So
a
it's
white
not-
spot on
not,
the tail.
Not a coot. So
are
let's
coots.
go look at a loon. Let's see what a loon looks like. And looks like there's a little orange knob at the end of the beak, maybe between their eyes. So anyway, the
not
coots, when
a
they take
loon.
off, they flap their wings. They're all the hundreds of birds. Their wings are hitting the water, and they're running, trying to gain airspeed and get up on top of the water. They run until they get airborne. Very strange-looking birds. Any comments coming in, Paul? Or
No.
you sure we're going out?
Yes.
And loons sit low in the water when they swim.
See, much different bird.
Yeah, but their coloration's not right though, Paul. And we don't see their legs.
It's a.
Go to all about birds.
Hang on.
I'm holding on to this table
I know.
religiously. All right, so while you're doing that, Alpen 8x34s. The Alpen 8x34 are an open bridge design.
Bad as my brother and my friend Donald.
Dude.
Never believe anything.
It's not that I believe. I want to see it, right? I mean, a summer tanager and a scarlet tanager, sort of look alike. We had a debate about one time. And then you had a cardinal in weird light that took a whole bunch of debate about.
It wasn't a cardinal.
Discussion. Well, see, exactly.
Well,
So,
it wasn't. I know what it was. It wasn't a cardinal. This is it's the exact same bird. See?
see the coloration in that picture, that hand-drawn picture, doesn't look anything like that.
These are coots. Right here. And the loon is not. No.
Yeah, that's a coot.
If you do loon,
And this
see,
is...
it's different kind of bird. It's not the same at all. Look at their bodies, much thinner. See?
Haven't seen it yet.
That's the
I don't-
closest one I could find.
That's a cormorant.
Yeah, but these are loons.
No, that's a
Yeah.
cormorant.
I don't, but it's in the loon classification.
But it's not a loon. Up there where it says search on the top right,
I've already done that. There's definitely a loon right there. Common loon. See, they have.
click on it.
I did.
Doesn't have a white spot or an orange spot on its beak. And look at the neck.
This is what these are.
Send me that picture. I want to do some research. Oh, look, there's a baby loon in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that baby loon. Look at the coloration on that bird. I mean, that is spectacular.
Yeah, these are coots. These, my good man, are coots.
Cormorants are a weird looking bird too. All right, so on to the binoculars. Here we go. These are the Alpen Wings 8x34 over in your carousel. A little bit more expensive, more materials, better glass, better coatings. Start working their way up. The objective end cover has little keeper rings, so you take them off and they stay there. They come off easy enough. You want to put them in your pocket and hang on to them that way. Again, fully multi-coated, waterproof, not going to fog up inside. This pair has a bridge design where you can get a couple of fingers down in, really get a hold of these, really use them. Twist-up eye cups. All the binoculars from here forward are going to have twist-up eye cups. It's sort of a ubiquitous thing on better binoculars. Some have the roll-up eye cups that are made out of rubber that you flip up, and those work just as well. There's little indentations right here where your thumbs go. Really nice ergonomic design. You can really get a hold of these and use them. Helps if you open them up to look at the camera. If I remember correctly, this pair will focus. No, not going to focus all the way. Comes close, but there you go. Can you see my eyes in there? I like doing that every once in a while in the shows. It's really creepy to see the eyes. Yes, creepy indeed. So, the Wings 8x34 binoculars, 8 power, 34 millimeter objective lenses. Comes with a nice carrying case, shoulder strap, lens cleaning pen, lens cloth. just a fine pair of binoculars. You start getting into the realm of binoculars where they're going to be a little bit more expensive, and they become an investment that you want to start taking care of, right? That becomes important. You don't want to waste your money and just throw it away and inadvertently, just break things willy-nilly because you can, because, that's wasteful. But after a certain point, you don't want to think of them as being disposable, and these are not disposable in my world, because you start spending some real money on them, and you want to protect them. Keeping them in the case is one way. Don't let them get super dirty, which is, one way to do it is keep them in the case. Don't just chunk the binoculars under the front seat of your pickup truck and then pull them out and go, golly, these are dirty. And well, yeah, because you let them get dirty. Keep them clean in your in the case it comes in is going to prolong the life of any pair of binoculars you get, whether they're an Alpen brand or another brand out there. These are beginning to be the money where you really want to protect them. Paul looks like he's got another bird queued up. What's the bird there, Paul? Let's see this beautiful.
This is a bird that is commonly mistaken for another bird. And there's so many different sizes of these types of birds.
I can tell
Out in Holiday Island right now, there's ones that are the size of crows, but this one is not one of those.
This is not a red-headed woodpecker.
Commonly misconstrued.
Huh?
It's commonly misconstrued because it has a
that big red
head.
patch on the back of its head. And this is a female bird of this species, and I can even tell you what kind of tree it's setting in. Paul, can you tell me what kind of tree it's setting in?
Hey, Kent, can you tell me if I care what kind of tree it's sitting in?
It is sitting in, ladies and gentlemen, a sycamore tree. We had one in the backyard of my house growing up, and my mom called it a sycamore tree because it sheds so many little branches. And Mom one day got tired of that tree, and you know what she did? She called a company with a bucket truck and chainsaws, and that tree disappeared from our yard. When she cut it down, it was about that big around at chest high. It was a big old cool tree. We climbed in it. We could get 80 to 90 feet up in the top of it, and those who were braver could get up in the wee top of it, and it'd start bending over like this, and it's like, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm not going to do that. But climbing a tree 80 feet up was a great tree to climb. Lots of cool memories. In fact, my brother and next door neighbor, Mike Pinzo, and my brother Andy, we decided to build our own zip line down across the yard. We found a piece of sturdy rope and tied it about
tree show
a zip line.
Or a bird show?
Well, story time with Kent. So
Pretty much.
we tied that about 40 feet up in the tree and made a wood thing with wood that we nailed together and rope handles on it, and tied it to the gas meter over at the fence line. And Andy got up there and stepped off. We thought we had the rope real tight. We didn't. It bent the big old U. And he came zipping down, going at a pretty good angle. And then suddenly the rope broke. And Andy came skidding into the ground. Luckily, he was going down at an angle and fell probably 20 feet and jumped up, and we all laughed and then made sure he wasn't hurt, and then we laughed some more. So that would be, I'm going to go with a flicker. Or
I have no idea what kind of bird
flicker.
it is.
A flicker or a yellow-bellied sapsucker. Although they're called sapsuckers, they too are a species
It
of
is
birds.
not yellow-bellied.
It's I think it's a flicker. I'm going to go with a flicker.
I don't know what kind it is. This is where we need our viewers to tell us.
See, this is why I like to do the research ahead of time to be able to tell people exactly what it is. Daniel, what do you think it is?
It is a woodpecker, though.
Yes, but what is it, Daniel? That's a printer.
The bird.
That's a printer that you're working on, but that's not just the old household printer right there. It prints these backgrounds behind us. Yeah, big old printer. All right, so
Let me see here. This particular little bird is let's That's not right.
So while he's doing it's a flicker.
But it's a woodpecker.
So I agree, 100%. But that's
They're
like saying,
saying.
okay, Paul, do you drive a car or do you drive a Mustang?
I found it. There it is.
What is it?
This is actually a red-bellied woodpecker.
Red-bellied woodpecker? Okay, here we go. Let me see it. Put it up.
Right.
You should go to All About Birds. It's by what I find to be the best site
All right, hang
for
on.
these.
But I can't search for it.
Sure you can.
Hang on.
But you have to know what you're searching for to execute
That's the
that.
problem.
They don't have, is it a woodpecker? Yes. Does it have red on this back of its head? No. Does it have a solid red head? Yes. You know, you can't do that. There's not a algorithm that does that. So
Here he is.
I'm
I
now
found
looking
him.
at the Shasta Ridge.
Bam. There he is. Wop.
Waiting for it to come up.
I know.
Boy, it's running slow today. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah.
It must be having to go out of the building, go to like Kuwait, and then come back.
Correct.
There you go, red-bellied woodpecker. But see, you can't see the red belly.
There is no red belly.
Yeah, there is. You can see a red belly on. That's why they're called red-bellied.
It's barely. That the male or that's a juvenile?
That's a juvenile, would be my guess. It should say female. That's a female.
Huh.
There's one. There's the red belly. See, that's why you can't tell in that picture. I'm not sure that that's a red-bellied.
That's what it says.
Look up on the picture you got. No, you took that picture, right?
Yeah.
So
it's the same bird, man.
Look up yellow-bellied sapsucker. Let's just
All
look
right,
real
where's
quick.
the search?
Top right, just below red-bellied woodpecker photo gallery, has a search button. Says search down. Right there. Yeah,
Not
there
even
it is.
close.
There it is. Yellow-bellied yellower-bellied sapsucker.
Not even close.
That's not them.
That's. I put it in
Click on yellow.
just like you told me.
Those are yellow-rumped warbler. Sapsucker is one word.
So these are the one. This is what you're talking about. That is not the same bird. No. See, this one doesn't have.
I can't see.
This one doesn't have red underneath its chin.
Yep, you're right. There we go. That's how you prove things, by disproving things. All right. What time is it, Paul?
48.
48. So let's go through the last 2 pair of binoculars. This is the Alpen Shasta Ridge 10 by 42s.
Shasta?
These are Shasta.
The Shasta Ridge?
I don't know. Noah, how do you say it? Shasta. Paul, how do you say it?
Shasta.
Shasta. He says Shasta like he's from not around here. So the chief operating officer of the company, Robert Price, says Shasta. Now, I don't know how people in the Northwest call it, the Oregon and Washington area. I need to ask some friends from up there, is it Shasta or is it Shasta? So we might find out. If you're out there watching and have a comment, let us know. Is it Shasta or Shasta? S-H-A-W or S-H-A? That'd be Shasta, like Shasta, maybe. I don't know. Alpen, Shasta Ridge, 10 by 42. When we bought Alpen a few years ago, like 4 years ago, they'd been shut down since like 2016. Had no production for a year or two before that. We bought them. They had no product left, no parts, no anything. So we got the brand name. The husband and wife closed down so they could retire and didn't sell it or anything. We bought the name from them because it's a great brand. And some of the products we were able to reconstitute. The factories were still there. Some of the factories had been gone. The tooling was gone. One of those was the Shasta Ridge. So these are the new Shasta Ridge binoculars, re-engineered, lighter, stronger body, passes the twist test with flying colors unless you're Tyler, and then he rips them in two because it's a phone book. Fully multi-coated twist up, new phase coatings on the insides of all the glass bearings, glass transmission surfaces. Surfaces. I think I tried to say surfactant is where I was sort of going.
That's the COVID killer, right?
It could be. It has a little prongs that stick into the keeper so the objective covers stay on. Has a pair of ocular covers right here, have a little groove in them so you can thread them through the neck strap and they will just hang from the neck strap. These are great binoculars. Compared to the previous ones, it's amazing what another generation of technology can do for binoculars. The Shasta Ridge 10x42s really benefited from that reinvention and re-engineering.
Can I share?
Paul, you've been sharing all show. So proceed with sharing your life story.
No, look, it takes a second, but it's coming up. I like this picture.
I can see that it's a bird bath.
Yeah, it should be up there now.
Oh, a house sparrow coming in for a drink. So,
I like it. That's fun.
Oh, it's a great picture. Depth of field is very narrow. The background's out of focus. Got a nice bokeh. You could have had a little bit more depth of field to it, or less depth of field, but very hard to get the bird in the bird bath.
Yeah, you have to freeze them, so you got to do it just right.
Yeah, but the flight feathers are all spread out.
Yeah.
But that is a male house sparrow, an invasive species that you can whack them and stack them.
There you go.
Heath here, who works in quality control, has built a house sparrow trap that he's not managed to catch any yet, but there's ways to build house sparrow traps. They're invasive. They will, fighting, going to get away from my bird bath. Saw on a social media feed today, somebody found noticed a male house sparrow hanging around one of their bluebird houses. So opened it up to find that the house sparrows had taken over and were adding to the bluebird nest, or getting ready to nest in there. So she dissuaded them from entering by destroying the nest and shooting them off. Bluebirds will nest throughout summer, and so if the bluebird nest is, the bluebirds can nest, they may be able to raise a brood even in July. So it's getting to be time to shut it down. I'm going to end with one thing real quick. This neck strap that comes with all these higher end ones, awesome, soft, great. Paul's going nuts over there. So on behalf of Paul Newton saying, shut it down, Kent, and Noah Menard over in the Marketplace Computer, everybody else here at Explore Scientific, I'm Kent Marts. We're getting out of here. See you tomorrow on Focus on Astrophotography. Bye, everybody.